excitement, what the team can achieve today, but there's a belief that they can actually win this game.
Referee is Craig Pawson. He blows his whistle, and there's the roar from Goodison Park as Everton played all the way back to Jordan Pickford, who launches it long. Everton against Newcastle United, who know that if they can win here today, then Newcastle will be in the top 4 in the Premier League tonight. Everton, though, are without both Branthwaite and Mykolenko, so they've lost 2 members of the back 4 that played in the win against Crystal Palace here a week ago, and also Jack Harrison's come in for Lindstrom, who's on the bench. So Keane and Garner have come in, but here's Calvert-Lewin for Everton, playing it out towards Ndiaye on the left-hand side, comes back centrally to Doucouré. Now arriving on the left-hand side is Ashley Young, who switched across to left back because of the injury to Mykolenko, but Newcastle are able to prevent it from reaching the penalty area, and Tonali now just lifts the ball past Michael Keane, who was caught. The ball bounced high. Keane did catch him high. Referee Pawson is thinking about this. He's given the free kick to Newcastle. I'm not sure it's going to be any more than that.
No, it should be a yellow card, because it's a cynical foul from Michael Keane as Tonali knocks it past him. He knows he's out the game. I've just seen a replay, John. He doesn't actually touch him, and he buys the free kick almost knowing that he's kicked it too far. So yeah, maybe it wasn't a yellow card.
Yeah, that is fair enough. It did look, I have to say that. Hence the reason I set you up like that.
Well, thanks, John. I'll take the fall.
Still, I'm backing you up. I've got your back, as they say. 0-0. Free kick long to the edge of the Everton penalty area for Newcastle, but Everton, blue shirts, white shorts, white socks here at Goodison, are able to get it away. And here is Ndiaye again, who just chests it down, but Newcastle back in possession. Newcastle wearing the rather controversial white and green away kit, with the green sleeves, green shorts, green socks, i.e. like the Saudi Arabian colours, as Lewis Hall passes the ball from the back, but Everton have got that quite comfortably. So with Keane and Garner coming in, James Garner playing as the right back, Tarkowski and Keane the central defensive partnership again, Ashley Young, as I say, at left back, Pickford in goal, just clearing it up to the halfway line where Ndiaye is challenged by Kieran Trippier, and that is given as a free kick to Everton. Everton, who have Doucouré and Mangala as the 2, with Harrison on the right, McNeil in the middle, 2 goals last Saturday, and Ndiaye on the left, and Calvert-Lewin, the number 9, through the middle, as Jordan Pickford is cheered as he actually walks over the halfway line to pick up the ball and take this free kick, which is just inside Everton territory. But Newcastle have got everyone back. Early stages, if you've been out at a game, you've just got into your car, we'll run you through the main events from the afternoon, but it's 0-0 here, early stages at Goodison. Pickford firing it long, out to the right. It's headed across by Tarkowski, goalkeeper Pope comes and gets a punch on that. Harrison's won it back on the edge of the area, and then in goes Anthony Gordon with a challenge with Tarkowski. I beg his pardon, Lewis Hall in with a challenge on Tarkowski. The ball runs out of play, and that is given as a throw-in Newcastle's way, which is taken by the fair-haired left back, right-footed up towards the halfway line. Now further forward from Doucouré, Harrison returning to the starting lineup in place of Lindstrom, who's on the bench. Back to Doucouré, back to the halfway line, and Michael Keane will actually smartly and swiftly play it out to Ashley Young on the left-hand side, and then it's tapped back by Mangala into his own half. So the Newcastle side, it is the same team that started in the Premier League last weekend when they drew 1-1 at St James's Park with Manchester City. Long clearance from Pickford. I don't think Calvert-Lewin will reach that. No, he won't. The cheers from the Newcastle fans down there just over the advertising hoardings as it rolls out. So the Newcastle team, Pope in goal, Trippier, Shea, Byrne and Hall. And Pope, Trippier and Shea were all doubtful for this match, but are all playing. Gimrein's the captain, Tonali and Joelinton in midfield, and then Murphy and Barnes wide, and Anthony Gordon, Stephen, playing through the middle. And actually Joelinton now with the bleached blonde hair carrying the ball forward for Newcastle, giving it to Barnes on the left-hand side. Barnes into the box, it's deflected, took the pace off it, and then it's cleared away by Michael Keane, who came across for Everton. Back to Hall again, Barnes, and then Joelinton as well. And now Hall goes back to Bruno Guimaraes, who just holds off the challenge from McNeil. Newcastle keep possession. Here's Tonali, and Everton doing exactly what the home crowd love to see an Everton team do there. They're really putting the opponents under pressure, but this is good play from Newcastle, out from the right-hand side from Trippier, cleared away on the edge of the box, comes back to Schär, forward from him, nice passing from Newcastle inside Everton territory, now forward from Trippier, that's blocked, and G.I. does well there to keep possession for Everton, who through Ashley Young will pass it up towards Calvert-Lewin, who chests it down under possession from Schär, down goes Calvert-Lewin, no free kick. And G.I. has got it on the left-hand side. There's not a great deal of support, so he's got to come back infield towards Mangala. And now Doucouré takes it up again for Everton in the centre circle. Good play from Newcastle, well defended from Everton.
Yeah, lovely play by Newcastle. A 1-2 touch football. The pressing's good from Everton, but the play from Newcastle was far too quick and incisive. But it's been a good start from Everton. Yeah,
and here is Harrison now laying it down the right. Garner's ball infield. Took a little deflection, so Byrne on the left foot was able to clear it to the halfway line. That's a short header from Keane back to Pickford, but he was very quickly out with Anthony Gordon chasing, but Pickford got there first ahead of his England colleague, and what a pass that is to Harrison, but Harrison couldn't find the ball to McNeil inside the penalty area, who was well placed, but Newcastle were able to deal with it. Bruno Guimaraes has cleared it. Tonali had to control that. Everton have got the ball back though. Harrison again. Harrison's thought about playing the ball in. Back to Garner. This is all down just in front of us as Sean Dyche in his black tight-fitting tracksuit comes out towards the edge of his coaching area as Everton played forward for Calvert-Lewin inside the penalty area, up against Schär, who's able to force him wide, then back to McNeil in the box. McNeil has to turn away from the 6-yard area, and the offside flag is up, and it's a free kick.
And he's broke his flag as well, John. There's going to be a change of flag.
Well, that was a piece of vigorous flagging from Mark Perry. You're right, well spotted. It came right off the pole, as it were. So and the excellent work from the fourth official, Tim Robinson, as well. He was down the touchline like a flash with a new one. Excellent fourth official work, lad.
Yeah. No, it was good because when
some people say they're a waste of time. Not me.
And I looked along the line. I thought Calvert-Lewin had gone a fraction too early. Think back to Villa Park the other night when John Duran made that run. I'm thinking to Calvert-Lewin, hit it first time because Pope had strayed off his line as well, but he just got a fraction too early. Calvert-Lewin.
That's Stephen Warnock with us. First time you and I this season. Stephen, former England defender, Premier League defender with Liverpool and Blackburn and Aston Villa. Great effort, wasn't it, by your old club the other night?
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Some performance, it really was. Great night at Villa Park. Was the atmosphere as good as it sounded, John?
Honestly, it was absolutely. It was something else. What a night. And we'll be back there tomorrow as well, as Calvert-Lewin now high foot on Trippier. Calvert-Lewin continues. There's no whistle. Now there is a whistle. No. Did he give that for the free kick?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he just gave himself a minute to think about the decision, Craig Paulson, which I don't mind. I know it infuriates the crowd, but it wasn't 10 seconds. It was a couple of seconds.
I wonder whether there was actually any contact on Trippier there or not.
I think it's the intent, though, isn't it? Trippier can't put his head into that area knowing that Calvert-Lewin's potentially going to catch him.
Yeah, as per the Keane free kick.
Yeah.
For Tonali. Long one forward for Newcastle. A touch now to Barnes from Gordon, and it's kept in well by Tarkowski, who was excellent actually with the challenge as the ball rolls, and he wasn't able to keep it out of play, says the assistant on the far side. So both assistants have been involved, and this has resulted in a corner to Newcastle.
Yeah, lovely play by Anthony Gordon out to Barnes. A lovely first touch on the ball, Gordon into the path of Barnes, but Tarkowski, such a great 1v1 defender, stands his ground, wins the initial challenge, and now they have to defend this corner.
Yeah, 9 minutes played here at Goodison Park. 5 Live, BBC Sounds, the 5:30 Saturday Premier League commentary on this network all season. And we're watching the corner taken by Trippier into the near post. Tonali with a flick, back post, it's driven goalwards and blocked on the line. The shot from Bruno Guimaraes, and there were players in there on the goal line. It's come off one of them. It must have been an Everton man who blocked it wide of the goal for a corner.
It's Njai. He's on the line. He just deflects it. He doesn't know too much about it. He almost Cruyffs it around the post. It's an incredible clearance. It's one of those moments where you're thinking it's got to go in. How's it not gone in?
Watching it again, that is a massive stroke of fortune for Everton that didn't end up in the back of the net. Pickford comes, punches the corner away. In it comes again, and Pickford comes and makes the catch. I think the Guimaraes shot might well have flicked Pickford, and then, as you say, Stephen, and G.I. on the line, almost with his back to it, it hits the back of his leg, his calf, and the ball skitters at right angles, right across the goal line virtually, and bounces wide of the post.
Quite incredible, but right place, right time, making sure that he's covering his goalkeeper when he comes out in G.I., because it would have certainly led to a goal.
It's an early contender for the goal line clearance of the season.
It's in the monitor in front of us again. I cannot get how he doesn't put it into his own goal. It's incredible.
It might have taken a flick off Pickford. I'm not sure who dived in front of it. And G.I., as you said, he almost Cruyff turned it off the line. I'm not sure how much he actually knew about that. It hit him.
No, but he looked very calm after it.
As you would.
Yeah, as you would, yeah.
Yes, know what I was doing there. Yes, I hope you saw that. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. And we are watching and listening closely, by the way, to the Wigan-Lee Super League semi-final that is underway. What a game that is, not too far away from here. So 0-0, last we heard. And you can watch it on BBC Two, and it will be on Sports Extra once the cricket is over, where Bangladesh at the T20 World Cup in the UAE, Bangladesh are chasing 119 to beat England, and they are 80 for 5 in the 17th over. So that is on Sports Extra. That's currently your choice of listening, and later we've got world title boxing from this city, from Liverpool, with the Nick Ball fight. That's on 5 Live. Long ball forward for Newcastle, but the offside flag eventually comes after the header on the edge of the penalty area. So a free kick to Everton on the edge of their own box.
First time in a long time that I've seen Tonali play live, because of the ban he had. And his movement's incredible off the ball. His awareness of how to create space for when Dan Burn or Shearer gets on the ball, to fire the ball straight through the middle and drag midfielders away from that space is quite great to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, of course, serving the 10-month long ban for breaching the betting regulations. Now finally back in, and it's the look of the Newcastle midfield that we saw right at the start of last season. If you remember Newcastle's first match of last season, when Tonali made his competitive debut, scored early in that match. They won 5-1 against Aston Villa with Bruno Guimaraes in the middle, Tonali to his right and Joe Linton to his left. No Isak or Callum Wilson, but Eddie Howe yesterday was saying they're expected to be back after the international window, so Anthony Gordon still through the middle up front.
They've still got that pace to burn, haven't they, with Anthony Gordon through the middle, but they don't have that ability. He doesn't have that ability to put his back to goal as much and bring others into play. He's very much running down the sides and down the channel, so it's a different way for the midfielders to play in midfield of Newcastle, to look for that pass into Anthony Gordon.
Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Newcastle, who've lost just once so far this season, the 3-1 defeat at Fulham in their last away match. Gordon goes down rather easily after a challenge from Mangala on loan from Lyon, one of the summer arrivals. There was contact, but down went Gordon, and you can hear how that went down in the stands at Goodison.
Everton fans must be used to that, though. They saw a lot of Anthony Gordon going down in the colours of Everton, and they were okay with it then, but not now, John.
No, he got a very loud boo, didn't he?
Did.
When the teams were read out just before kick-off, when everyone was in their places inside Goodison. The word is, by the way, that Anthony Gordon's new contract will be announced very soon, so keep an ear out for that, as Newcastle have it at the back. Byrne across to Shearer. Gordon, who was the player of the year for Newcastle last season. Now Trippier, but misplaced pass. Young was able to step forward. Young who switched across, but he's used to doing that during his career. And then the ball forward for Calvert-Lewin, who's running against Byrne. Comes in field, right foot shot, but it's straight at Pope, who's able to just go down onto one knee and field it in front of his body.
Yeah, conversation between the two centre-backs. Sher went high, Dan Burn stayed very deep. He allowed the run of Calvert-Lewin to stay onside. He did well to get the shot away, but he just never really fancied Dominic Calvert-Lewin in that situation. Didn't look the most confident going 1v1 against Burn.
Another shot in the end from just outside the penalty area, maybe 21, 22 yards out. 15 minutes played here. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. As free kick goes against Everton, and the ball is tossed away, I must say, by Doucouré, although he did throw it to Gordon. So he threw it to Gordon, who was standing next to where it was taken. So I don't think you could have given that as a delaying the restart. I think there's more anger about the awarding of the free kick in the first place, because it was won by...
Yeah, Anthony Gordon again. He's just involved in everything at the moment. He's that type of player, wants to get on the ball. This atmosphere, it won't intimidate him at all. I think it fuels him. I think he enjoys it. We saw that in his time at Everton when he played against Liverpool. He was often that player that frustrated the opposition crowd, but he enjoys it.
Yeah. Yet to score or assist a goal since leaving Everton against them. Ball in from the left-hand side. Murphy was caught there. He actually got a touch, but it bounced away from him. Trippier back to Murphy. Murphy's shot, but it's straight at Pickford, who, rather in the manner of Pope at the other end a few moments ago, was able just to drop down and field it in front of his body.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit more difficult. Fired through the legs of a couple of players, so perhaps a little bit more unsighted, but really good hands from Jordan Pickford. Doesn't spill it to any of the on-rushing Newcastle players.
Everton 0, Newcastle 0, and the Everton goalkeeper, big banner in the stand at the Gladys Street end for Jordan Pickford before the match, with the England badge and the Everton crest on there as well. 2 clean sheets for Everton, for England last month, Jordan Pickford, and back on international duty next week again. 70 caps now, Jordan Pickford. Only 5 England goalkeepers, only 5 men have reached that number, as Tonali actually misplaced pass. So Everton coming forward with McNeil. McNeil now lifts it over the top, but comes off ahead of Bruno Guimaraes and bounces through to the England goalkeeper at the other end, Nick Pope.
Yeah, good recovery runs from the Newcastle players. Not really many Everton players committing forward and getting in advanced positions. You can see they're just feeling the way into the game. They know that Newcastle have got bags of pace in wide areas, and obviously Anthony Gordon up top. So they are, you can tell they're worried and thinking about that turnover of possession.
2 England goalkeepers and 2 English managers in the Premier League here today. That is almost a collector's item as Everton come forward. Garner on the right. Garner curls it in, and it's headed in by Doucouré, edge of the 6-yard box. I'm not sure how he found space in there, but he did. Newcastle just stood off him, and a little header over the top of Pope into the top corner, and Everton are in front 1-0 against Newcastle.
Yeah, the standing right back James Garner with an incredible ball, a ball that is undefendable. It's just put into an area, but I said they didn't commit numbers forward in the previous attack. Well, they do in this one, as Calvert-Lewin comes forward. He's offside, John. Doucouré goes too early. It will be checked, but he's gone too early. He's half a yard offside, much to the frustration. We'll hear it round the ground in a minute, and I just feel like he's gone too early.
They don't know it yet. There's going to be great disappointment here. Listen, groans. They've seen it now on the screen. They don't like it, but I'm afraid you've clocked it almost immediately, Steve, and there we are. Cheers from the Newcastle fans. Everton fan just in front of us puts his hands on his head, and I guess that must be his little brother, has actually pulled up his coat and covered his face, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, but the intent's there from Everton, committing players forward. The ball from James Garner was delightful. Doucouré getting beyond his striker, that's what you want. They don't get the goal from it, but the intent's there, and that was a good sign.
Yeah, classic Doucouré, actually, wasn't it? With that kind of, that's what Everton need from him. Excellent surge, and now Gordon plays it through the middle for Barnes, but across comes Ashley Young to lift the ball out of play, and it lands right down the front of the tier to our left. Sean Dyche, and listen to this, what it's done to the atmosphere. That sense that They thought they were ahead, but they've been able to get the ball in the net. Doucouré, who did score here last season in the 3-0 when Everton scored 3 late goals against Newcastle. Here's Jacob Murphy on the right-hand side. Murphy does well, moves past a couple of Everton players, gives it back into the centre circle, and now Hall to Barnes. Barnes up against Garner, standing in as full-back again, James Garner. What a turn by Gordon away from Doucouré, pulls it back, hits the defender Mangala. Unfortunately for Everton, bounces off him straight to Jordan Pickford to pick up.
He's electric, Anthony Gordon. When he gets in forward areas, he drops the shoulder on Doucouré, leaves him for dead, little outside of the foot turn on Doucouré, and then he can't quite square it into the middle, but he's just looking so sharp. Point to prove coming here.
Well, I think he has scared the Everton defence on a couple of occasions, hasn't he? That movement and pace, there's a nice understanding, isn't there, with Barnes and Gordon together, as Garner wins it back for Everton. Here is Doucouré, the ball is over the top of Ndiaye and bounces out for a throw to Newcastle on the far side. There's also rugby union underway in the Premiership, Newcastle against Leicester, so Newcastle's rugby union players in action against Leicester. Latest is 10-3 to Leicester. That was also a 5:30 kickoff. In the semi-final, Wigan are in front against Lee, 4-0. Here is Bruno Guimaraes. Then Joe Linton. Bruno Guimaraes, though, that's a misplaced pass from him. Ashley Young is able to clear it away downfield. Almost midway through the first half here. Half-time, Mark Chapman will be bringing you more reaction and interviews from the 3 o'clock matches and the earlier sport, as Garner goes in on Barnes, and Garner's come off worst there, and the referee allows play to continue with Barnes, who was going to shoot until Jack Harrison arrived and just took the ball away from him. And now referee Pawson does stop play, and we'll see how James Garner actually is. He's lying down on his side on the pitch, and the Everton medical people are waved on to have a look at him.
Yeah, well, he went in for a challenge with Harvey Barnes, and it was Garner who went in initially with the strong challenge. Barnes wanted the foul, but it's Garner who stayed down. I just wonder whether he's took a blow into the nether regions, shall we say, John, and he's winded himself ever so slightly, or whether it is just on the groin area and he's overstretched himself.
I also wonder whether he might have had his foot stood on.
Yeah.
In the midst of all that. Anyway, they're having a look at him.
He's not moved much, John.
He hasn't. And he's down lying on his right side. And now they've rolled him onto his back. He's got his arm over his face, which I always think is never a great sign, that when players put their arm over their face. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. The players will come to the side of the pitch for instructions, bottles of water. Jason Tyndall's very heavily involved there with Eddie Howe, Sean Dyche likewise, and Steve Stone's just there down to his right, who we've had sitting alongside, or I've had sitting alongside me quite a few times over the years. Steve Stone with us on 5 Live. So Garner is just now being helped to his feet, and we'll see. He'll have to be led off to the field while the players take their positions again. So earlier today in the Premier League, the top 3 this morning did all win. Liverpool 1-0 at Palace. Manchester City now in second after their 3-2 win against Fulham. Arsenal 3-1 winners against Southampton. Both were behind, though. You might have heard our earlier commentary with Chris Waddle and Ian Dennis at Manchester City, but coming through in the end 3-2. Game full of goals at Brentford, who won 5-3 against Wolves. West Ham 4-1 winners against Ipswich. Leicester got their first Premier League win of the season since their promotion, 1-0 against Bournemouth. And in the Championship, Sheffield United go level on points with Sunderland at the top after their 2-0 win against Luton. But much more, and more reaction. We'll have interviews again for you at half-time if you didn't hear them in Sports Report, and of course everything you'll find on the football pages of the BBC Sport website. All the details will be there. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. They still haven't Tipexed out Doucouré's disallowed goal. Here's Barnes now taking it on from the halfway line. Then Doucouré finds the ball bouncing towards him. Garner still waiting to come back onto the field, and he is now allowed back on. Sean Dyche is exasperated.
He knows the rules, though. He knows the 30 seconds. They just like hyping the crowd up, don't they, and getting them going and making a bit of noise. He did signal to the physio, though, and the fourth official that he was winded.
Okay, yeah, well, he is okay now then. Should be able to continue. Long ball forward from Newcastle from Tonali, but that just bounces all the way through to Pickford. So the main happening of the match so far is the NGI clearance off the line from Bruno Guimaraes' shot following a corner. Remarkable. Look out for that on Match of the Day tonight. Tarkowski flicking the ball forward up towards Calvert-Lewin on the edge of the area. Lewis Hall came in with a challenge. Calvert-Lewin went down, but the ball had already gone to McNeil. Now here is Garner back into the action. Garner, little pass to Harrison. Harrison then back to Garner again. I think it'll go back towards the halfway line. Yeah, here one or two sighs from the Everton fans. Long pass from Tarkowski, but that will bounce all the way beyond McNeil, with Lewis Hall just running across him and through to Nick Pope. 25 minutes played, Everton 0, Newcastle 0 on 5 Live.
Yeah, Newcastle started the game passing extremely well, but the way Everton have set themselves up, they're just asking Newcastle to go a little bit more direct, and that's suiting Sean Dyche. He's applauding every time that Newcastle look a little bit more direct. Anything that goes into feet, they're pinching, they're tight, they're organised. They're just not offering too much of a threat, Everton, going forward.
It is Newcastle who have a throw, which is taken back, and Byrne plays it across the penalty area to his central defensive partner, Cher. Sven Botman is on the Newcastle injured list as well. As Bruno Guimaraes hits it long from deep. And then here is Gordon receiving it from Murphy, right side of the penalty area. Keane goes to ground, he pulls it across Gordon, but the covering defender was there, Garner, who was able to clear it, and McNeil might be able to take it on, which he does. McNeil, he's got support there from NGI carrying it out wide. Newcastle have got white shirts back now. McNeil again on his left foot, square from him. Mangala hits the shot, deflects across the edge of the penalty area, and Hall is able to take it down, almost like he was being caught LBW, the way that he took a deflection on the ball, but then it dropped into his path and he was able to clear it away. Encouragement from the home sections as Everton attack towards the Park stand, the Sir Philip Carter Park stand, as it says in blue writing across the top of it. Here is McNeil playing the ball into the box, but Bruno Guimaraes was able to walk into the way of that pass and just take the ball away. And Tonali now, nice and economical from him, just a couple of classy touches, with Everton players either side of him turned and played it out to the space on the right hand side. And now Hall's left-footed ball, attempted pass down the line, that was headed back for Everton by Garner. Now Harrison and Garner together on the right hand side. Still Harrison moves infield, but Hall actually watched him all the way and blocked the pass, then blocks the pass from Doucouré. Still Everton though, Tarkowski to Mangala. Now Ashley Young over there on the far side, the now 39-year-old Ashley Young. Forward and high from Tarkowski. Pope has come a long way and he's caught it comfortably.
Yeah, great claim from Nick Pope. Newcastle defenders will be delighted with that. Just Jack Harrison down below in front of us. He's just not got any confidence about him whatsoever. Every time he gets it, he's looked to come back and play safe. He's not faced Lewis Hall up once, and Lewis Hall, he was tracking back there. He probably run 30-40 yards to get back into shape, and you're thinking that's when he's tired, that's when you take him on. Just lacking in confidence.
Everton 0, Newcastle 0 here on Merseyside, and let's go from Merseyside to the UAE and Dan Norcross, because Dan,
well, England have won. They've won by 21 runs. They've kicked off their campaign, I wouldn't say in style, slow, low, horrible conditions, as they have been throughout the games in Sharjah. Sabana Mostari scored 44. No one else really got going. 97 for 7 Bangladesh ended up with. England's best bowler, Lindsay Smith, 2 for 11 in her 4. England kick off their campaign with a win by 21 runs.
Here's Barnes for Newcastle into the box. Little chip to the back post, which is headed behind by a stretching Ashley Young. Don't think there was anyone there behind him, or was there?
No, there wasn't.
Look around the post.
You'll be happy when they move out this stadium.
Yeah, it's the last
John?
Season with the post.
I hope they make bigger seats for you as well, John.
They make bigger seats and no posts. That's the 2 requirements of Bramley Moor Dock Stadium. Well, it is a corner, well defended by Ashley Young, nevertheless, and And out there on the far side, Trippier is waiting to take this for Newcastle. Dan Burn on the balls of his feet on the edge of the 6-yard area, towering over everyone else. Trippier takes this back to Murphy, then back to Trippier, then back to Murphy. Left foot, curler, which was wide, just wide, probably by maybe a yard, 2 yards of the far top corner as he tried to curl it. Goal kick, Everton.
Yeah, Sean Dyche so animated down in front of us. Short corner taken, no one getting out to help Jack Harrison. He's in a 2v1 situation and Murphy works it onto his left foot. See what he's trying to do, set it round the post, but just couldn't get the whip on it to bring it back round.
Now Tonali has stayed down inside the penalty area.
Yeah,
now
Tarkowski
wrestled him to the ground.
He throws him, doesn't he?
Threw him down. He sort of grabbed him around the top of the shirt and threw him down.
So that's allowed now, is it? That's bizarre. I mean, why would you ask the referee to make a decision, or VAR? It's incredible. I mean, we don't get the beauty of listening into VAR. I'd love to know what they're saying about that.
He's got the scruff of the neck of his shirt.
He's still...
VAR have seen this.
Yeah.
VAR have seen this. Is going to be a penalty.
So. It should be.
This is going to be a penalty.
It's daft from Tarkowski.
I mean, Tonali was clever there. Tonali stayed down because he knew he had a case for a penalty. I mean, unless I'm very, very much mistaken, this will be given as a penalty kick to Newcastle United. I mean, Everton are unhappy about this, and as we know, this kind of thing goes on all of the time, but this was quite extreme.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his arm on his shoulder, hold of his shirt, then he's got his arm on the back of his head, throws him to the ground. Tonali can't stand up. It's silly.
I think Craig Pawson, there's the rectangle, the sign of the rectangle, and Craig Pawson goes away to the far side, and I think absolutely correctly Chris Kavanagh, who is the video assistant referee tonight, has said to Craig Pawson, come and have a look at this, and he's going to give a penalty.
He's under no pressure as well. He's right in front of the Newcastle fans. Where the VAR screen is, you've got a split of Everton and Newcastle fans.
Kind of almost at the point where the Everton fans and the Newcastle fans meet. It's just on the Everton side of that, but he's having a look at this, where we can see the pictures of him having a look at the screen, and Newcastle took the free kick short and tapped it between Murphy and Trippier, but as Murphy was going for goal, Tarkowski grabs a hold of him. There's an arm round one side, he's got a hold of the neck of the shirt, and still referee Pawson is looking at it. Here he comes now. There is the sign. It's a penalty. It's a Newcastle penalty with now 32 minutes on the clock, and you have to think that this is going to be the opportunity for Anthony Gordon to score for Newcastle against Everton at the Gladys Street end.
Yeah, the Evertonians can boo all they want because they haven't seen the incident properly, and they watch it again tonight on Match of the Day, and they see how Tarkowski manhandles Tonali, throws him to the ground. I think what what Craig Pawson was looking for was, what was the contact from Tonali? How much was it both ways? It wasn't. It was all Tarkowski, and the correct decision's being made.
Well, Tarkowski, the Everton captain who's conceded the penalty, is still talking to referee Pawson. He's pleading his case. Of course he can do that as the captain, but it doesn't matter. Craig Pawson's seen the evidence. He's given the penalty, and now it's going to be Anthony Gordon.
Look at Ashley Young just trying to get to Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon just gave him a little wink and said, it's okay. He's not bothered. He's not fazed by it at all.
Yeah, Everton are still chirping away at him, but he's actually taken up a position, Anthony Gordon. He's standing on the edge of the penalty area, behind the penalty spot, and now he walks forward. He's just been composing himself. Talk about taking his time, staring at the ground.
He didn't make eye contact with Pickford once. He just knows, I'm in my zone, I'm staying within that zone, that's all I've got to do.
Well, he'll have spent half the summer taking penalties against Jordan Pickford in Germany, and now he's ready. Gladys Street then doing its best to put off Anthony Gordon, the former Evertonian, from the penalty spot on his right foot against Jordan Pickford. He waits, now he comes up, and Pickford saves down to his left. He got his body to it. It was a low penalty. Pickford's the hero, and Anthony Gordon is denied at Goodison. 0-0.
Now Jordan Pickford's gone down. Pickford's got a problem here. Really good save by Jordan Pickford though. Outsmarted Anthony Gordon, got himself down to the bottom left. It's not a good penalty, it's a really poor penalty. He thinks Pickford's going to go the other way, tries to second guess him. Pickford goes down, he actually saves it with his knee. It's not even with his hand.
Pickford went early, he was that confident Gordon was going to go down to his left.
He's gone before he's even kicked the ball.
Took a
well
step
before. Incredible that Gordon's not seen that.
It'd be interesting to see if Pickford was still on the line. As the corner is taken now, Pickford's okay, corner's taken, it's cleared away behind, so it remains 0-0. We've had an Everton goal disallowed, we've had an incredible clearance off the line, we've now had a Jordan Pickford penalty save, and Newcastle with a second consecutive corner that is slung into the near post, headed away for Everton, headed further away by Tarkowski, nipped further away by Harrison. The corner taker, Lewis Hall, has got a touch on that. Doucouré flicks it in field, but Anthony Gordon's there to play it back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Long from Nick Pope on his right foot. 10 minutes to go to half-time. It's actually been quite eventful, hasn't it, with one thing and another, as Bruno Guimaraes is upended by Doucouré, and it's a free kick to Newcastle just inside their own half.
Loads to talk about, so much to talk about with both teams, and what an opportunity it was for Anthony Gordon. You looked at his process of everything that he tried to do, but then there's a process from the goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, and you've got to say he's thought about everything that has happened over the summer. He knows Anthony Gordon's move, he knows his tell. I just still can't believe that Gordon didn't look up a fraction earlier and see that he'd made that mistake, and wins himself another free kick here.
Yeah, another one on the halfway line. Doucouré with that challenge. It's only a free kick. Have to be a brave referee right now to give a yellow card to an Evertonian for a foul on Anthony Gordon. Although in the aftermath of him having a penalty saved, it's probably the best moment of all, as Gordon actually slips over off the ball, hence that cheer. Gets to his feet quickly, and he did everything right in terms of the composure, taking his time, thinking about it, very much had the full focus on, didn't he? He settled himself, but Pickford was so confident he was going to go to his left.
Yeah, but he made the mistake of not putting his foot through it properly. It was a really tame penalty.
Oh, that's nicely taken down by Joe Linton, but passed behind Barnes. So Lewis Hall goes infield to Joe Linton. White strapping on his right hand, the Brazilian midfielder. Barnes now carrying it infield. That's a lovely turn by Hall. Ball bounces to Gordon. Gordon into the penalty, almost into the 6-yard box, but Tarkowski was there to clear it away, and then a foul on Njai on the edge of the box, and Everton have a free kick, and it remains 0-0. The latest in the rugby league. I'll bring you in a moment or two. Wigan were 4-0 up last we heard. It's now 8-0. Wigan 8, Leigh 0, and also Newcastle 3, Leicester 15 in the Premiership. The rugby league, the semi-final, should now be on Sports Extra. The commentary, or maybe they're still wrapping things up at the T20 World Cup, where England have won, and the next commentary from the UAE. Don't miss this. India-Pakistan is on from 11 o'clock in the morning on Sports Extra. And if you haven't heard the news, Test match special back on air live from Pakistan on Monday morning for the Test series. So the Test series, Pakistan against England, Ben Stokes ruled out of the first Test, but the whole Test series, ball by ball Test match special from 5:45 on Monday morning. Ball played into the penalty area for Everton from Mangala, but just bounces through for a goal kick. So 6 minutes to go to half-time. Stephen Warnock, 0-0.
I was just having a look, John, to see if Tarkowski got booked for that, and he didn't, because we were so concentrated on what was happening and the process of it all, and I thought, I wonder if he picked a yellow card up, but no yellow card.
Is a good point. Tonali out wide here, playing it infield, comes off the head of Young and actually bounces to Joe Linton, who might try a shot from here, but the ball wouldn't come down for him. Kept on bouncing, and then the jet black haired Tonali infield towards guess who? Anthony Gordon. Now Barnes up against Garner. Hall on the overlap. Garner slides in. Got a touch on that. It's another corner. This is Newcastle's 6th of the first half.
I have to say, John, if I was Lewis Hall, I wouldn't be overlapping Barnes. I'd leave him and I'd isolate him in a 1v1 situation. I actually think he's helping out Garner by making that overlap. He's making it easier for him.
Kieran Trippier comes across to take this. He was a doubt for this game, Kieran Trippier. I mean, we thought, wouldn't we, when we got to October, that he might not be at Newcastle anymore, but here he is. It's his 3rd consecutive Premier League start, and Trippier takes the corner underneath the crossbar. Pickford punches it away. It's played back out to Gordon. Gordon curls it into the back post. Header away from Keane, and then Joelinton on the volley just outside the D, but that's high over the top of the bar. I thought it might actually land in the top tier of the Gladys Street end, but it's at the back of the lower tier, and it's a goal kick to Everton.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. I'm wondering why Jordan Pickford elected to punch that ball. He wasn't really under too much pressure, and it came out to the edge of the box, and he caught it well, just high, wide and handsome.
Eddie Howe just comes to the edge of the coaching area. Very, very tight pair of tracksuit bottoms that he got on, and he just hitches up.
Like tights.
Eddie Howe, it's his 300th Premier League match as a manager today, and I was reminded by Matthew Raisbeck from BBC Radio Newcastle before the match that he was an Everton fan when he was growing up, Eddie Howe, influenced by the '84 Cup final, which was one of his first Cup finals as a youngster. Even though he was from the Watford area, he took a liking to Everton, and if you remember as well, when he was relegated with Bournemouth, it happened here at the club that he supported when he grew up.
Heavily linked here as manager as well, wasn't he? When there was I think it was before Sean Dyche came in.
Yeah. That's nice. Calvert-Lewin laying it off to McNeil, who I think might have just been tugged back by Byrne, and as a result, Lewis Hall was able to move in and play the ball back to Nick Pope. Sean Dyche clearly is making the point, and then Gordon goes down under a challenge from Keane, and that's given us a free kick in the centre circle for another foul on Anthony Gordon, the umpteenth.
Well, I'm not popular in these parts anyway, but I won't be popular saying this. The first one's not a foul, then it is a foul on Gordon. I mean, it's just good defending from Dan Burn. Big strong arm, pushes Dwight McNeil off his running path. It's exactly what you have to do.
We go together to quite a lot of places where you're not that popular, don't we? It seems to me.
Even in Munich now.
I know. That's the one I was thinking of. As the ball is played down the right-hand side to Gordon, but Keane comes across and slides it out of play for a throw-in 10 yards away from the corner flag that Kieran Trippier will take. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. It's now Newcastle 3, Leicester 20 in the Premiership, and Wigan 12, Leigh 0 in the Rugby League semi-final. It'll be on Sports Extra if it isn't already, and it is on BBC Two. Here is Bruno Guimaraes, who was fouled by McNeil, but Bruno Guimaraes spirals away, rolling over and over and over. And referee Craig Pawson does pull out the yellow card for McNeil for the challenge.
Yeah, he had a couple of nibbles at Guimaraes. Lovely strength from Bruno Guimaraes against Dwight McNeil. Dwight McNeil's not happy because he's just been muscled off the ball, lunges at Guimaraes and then correctly picks up a yellow card. Yeah,
there was a bit of frustration from McNeil, wasn't there, that he'd been outstrengthed by Bruno Guimaraes.
It's never nice to see on a football pitch, and when it happens to you, you just think, oh no.
Yeah. And so as Bruno Guimaraes was going away, he just sort of hacked him down, really, didn't he? So yellow card, free kick to Newcastle. Half-time approaching, still goalless. Trippier, this is very, very high to the back post. Byrne got a header on it, came off Keane, I think. Tarkowski it was, and Tarkowski then, with a nice piece of footwork, right to left, clears it away towards the halfway line. Sean Dyche almost steps onto the field there as Fabian Schär goes for a long pass to the edge of the area. Michael Keane in for the injured Jared Branthwaite, is able to get it down and clear it out on the halfway line. We have seen Jared Branthwaite, by the way, if you're an Everton supporter and are wondering, you know, with the severity of this injury that he's picked up in training. You know, he is setting up in the stands. We saw him walk across the pitch before the start of the game.
He's coming now, John. You see him down below.
there he
He's
is.
with Patterson, who also played in the under-21s. He got himself 90 minutes the other day, which is a good sign for Everton fans.
Yeah, he's been out for 6 months. Joe Linton gets the better of Tarkowski into the penalty area, but Keane comes across as well, actually. Michael Keane playing the ball back into Joe Linton, and it bounces behind for a goal kick. Jordan Pickford is just signalling for the halfway line. There are 6 minutes of added time after all of the delays that we've had with Garner's injury and also what was quite a lengthy VAR stoppage. So what struck me the other night, speaking of VAR, you know how at Villa Park the opening goal that was ruled out for offside, semi-automated offside, which is going to come in eventually, but a little bit later than we thought this season. I just thought on the drive home, I was thinking, how come we can have it in the Champions League in this country, but we're not ready yet to have it in the Premier League? And it does make a difference, I feel, and it will do when they do eventually bring it in.
Well, they've only had to put it into 4 grounds, haven't they? And then it's probably just getting it into every single ground.
Here is Barnes. Barnes coming in field on his right foot, plays it square to Trippier, and then forward for Barnes, who continued his run over there to the far side, but it's won back. Although it's lost now, Trippier's got it back. Everton have got to be careful here. Tonali back to Gordon, twisting and turning, and it runs away. And Keane is very happy just to whack that, and it bounces out of play on the halfway line.
And Jai being very dangerous there on the edge of his own box, tried to nutmeg Trippier, and then it breaks to Newcastle, and a couple of intricate passes, and they're nearly in at the back line, but well defended by Michael Keane.
By the way, the Super League semi-final will be on in the second half on Sports Extra, with Wigan building a lead, 14-0. Here's Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali. Newcastle are sniffing the possibility of a goal before the break here, in added time at the end of the first half. Everton, who had a goal disallowed for offside, and Newcastle, who had a penalty saved. That's the big story of the first half. Anthony Gordon against his old club, penalty saved by Jordan Pickford. As Newcastle go back, and all the way back actually, towards Nick Pope, who comes out of his goal, passes it forward towards Byrne, who gives it to Lewis Hall, and then Joe Linton's taken up a position just in front of the two managers, and then he's away from the halfway line. Joe Linton, he's still going, he's running all the way through to the edge of the penalty area until Ashley Young comes across from left bank to clear it to the halfway line, and Newcastle start again from inside their own half. Oh, that's a little, I thought that was a little short from Byrne, but he got enough on it, and Calvert-Lewin couldn't reach that.
Yeah, powerful run from Joe Linton in midfield, and Ashley Young gets the credit for clearing the ball, but Mangala stayed with him every stride and made sure that he got across Joe Linton once he wanted to try and get his shot away.
Long pass from Cher, but too long for Newcastle. Just bounces through to Jordan Pickford. Wigan now 16-0 up, and Leicester 23 ahead against Newcastle in the Rugby Union. So England's winning by 21 runs against Bangladesh, so we'll have more on that at half-time, as well as more reaction from the afternoon's Premier League football. This is the latest of our 5 Premier League commentaries that we've got on 5 Live and Sports Extra this weekend. Here is Joe Linton losing out though. McNeil brings it out towards the right-hand side. Harrison puts his foot on the ball. Tonali is very tight to him. So Everton have to go back into their own half. And now Michael Keane drags the ball onto his right foot, hits a long pass. Harrison pulls that down, but bounced to Hall, who was able to pass it straight to Barnes. Newcastle still halfway inside their own half. Tonali, but that pass is short, and Ndiaye is able to say thank you very much, takes on, beats Trippier around the outside, and Ndiaye still going, cuts infield, but Tonali's there as the cover, as Trippier recovered as well, and now Tonali is hoping that Ndiaye is going to foul him, which he hasn't, but eventually is able to win a throw-in halfway inside his own half.
He's got the lovely ability and balance, hasn't he, Ndiaye, when he takes people on. I'm thinking, just carry on down the outside. He came back into numbers, and it was eventually got crowded out 3v1, but he's the one who can carry the ball naturally for Everton down the pitch.
Remember, it was Ndiaye who was going to be a big part of things, wasn't he, in the Premier League for Sheffield United last season, and then close to the start of the season ended up being sold to Marseille, and spent just the one season there where he wasn't a huge part of things. So now back in the Premier League after Everton paid around about £20 million for him in GI. Byrne going back to Pulp, and now Trippier passing it infield to Tonali. Newcastle playing it out from the back very nicely, Cher, and then with the Everton players on the press, Cher found Guimarães, and now Gordon back to Guimarães. There's the ball out to the right hand side. Jacob Murphy is there. Trippier on the overlap. Murphy though with the cross to the back post. Gordon with a header. He headed it square. He could have gone for goal there, but he headed it square, and it bounces behind off Joe Linton for a goal kick.
I think he tries to go for a goal, John. I think he gets the header horribly wrong. Lovely play down the right hand side. Trippier with the overlap, and then it's not used by Jacob Murphy. I don't know whether he does go for the header.
I think he jumped too early, didn't
he?
He
just gets it beyond the ball, doesn't he, as he heads it down into the path of Joe Linton.
I think you're right. I think his intention was, when he left the ground, to head for goal, but then found himself ahead of the ball.
Yeah, he got it horribly wrong, didn't he? And he found himself in a great space in between the two centre-backs. Free header.
Everton 0, Newcastle 0. 5 Live BBC Sounds, where you'll hear all of live BBC radio. Go to BBC Sounds, look for 5 Live. You can pause, rewind, listen again. If you're a Villa fan, you might want to go back and listen again to what it sounded like on Wednesday night. If you look for the stations and schedules box and go back to Wednesday, you'll find it. But there we are, first half ends goalless. Everton thought they'd scored, but Doucouré's header was ruled out for offside by then, and GI had already spectacularly cleared off the line from Guimarães. And Newcastle thought they were going to score from the penalty spot through Anthony Gordon, but Pickford made the save.
Yeah, it's had a game that's had a lot of talking points. A lot's gone on within the game. Everton have been organised, difficult to break down at times, but Newcastle, you can just see them building up a little bit of steam, starting to get a little bit more confidence and causing them a few more problems, but they're still in this game, Everton, on the counter-attack.
Referee Pawson and the officials are being booed off. The Everton fans unhappy that the penalty was given against them, also unhappy about all of the free kicks. Anthony Gordon's won, but at half-time it is Everton 0, Newcastle 0.
Thank you very much. Earlier on in the Premier League, Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1, Arsenal 3, Southampton 1, Brentford 5, Wolves 3. They scored in the second minute this week, did Brentford, not in the first. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 3, Fulham 2, and West Ham 4, Ipswich 1. Reaction to the Premier League football to come. In the Championship, Sheffield United went level on points with Sunderland at the top of the table after a 2-0 win over Luton. Leaders at the start of the day, Birmingham, were beaten in League One, so their unbeaten start to the season is over. They remain top, though. They lost 1-0 at Charlton. The morning leaders in League Two, Gillingham beaten as well, 2-0 at Crewe. Walsall go above them at the top of the table on goals scored. And in the Scottish Premiership, all three away teams won today. Kilmarnock at Dundee, Motherwell at Hibs, Dundee United at St Mirren. England's women have won their opening match at the T20 World Cup against Bangladesh by 21 runs. And at half-time in the Super League semi-final, Wigan 18, Leigh 0. Reaction to the day's sport to come after Jill Mackenzie at 23 minutes past 6.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Israeli airstrikes have hit the Lebanese capital Beirut this afternoon, while Hezbollah has fired dozens of rockets into northern Israel. An Israeli official has said their military is preparing a response to last week's Iranian missile attack. Meanwhile, the United Nations says Lebanon is facing a terrible refugee crisis. More than 200,000 people have fled to Syria because of Israel's bombardment. Here, tens of thousands of pro-Palestinian demonstrators have marched through central London, calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and an end to the conflict in the Middle East. French authorities say 4 people, including a 2-year-old boy, have died while trying to cross the English Channel. It's believed the child was trampled to death in an overcrowded boat. 13 people had to be rescued. And the government will announce a major package of reforms to workers' rights this week. But there's been a lot of negotiation between unions and business groups, and Labour's proposals may still go out to consultation.
2 years ago, Ben Stokes' side made history in Pakistan.
And England have done it. They've achieved something here that nobody has ever done.
Can they repeat it this time around?
England travel to Pakistan for a 3-match test series throughout October.
Ball. Ball behind.
Hear ball-by-ball commentary on the first test, Monday morning from 6 a.m. on 5 Sports Extra.
And keep up to date with the TMS podcast on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
With Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back at Goodison shortly, goalless between Everton and Newcastle. Anthony Gordon having a penalty saved by Jordan Pickford. The champions Manchester City earlier this afternoon came from behind to beat Fulham 3-2. Mateo Kovacic got 2 of the goals. Here's Pep Guardiola with Gary Flintoff.
Well, Pep, you were quite animated today, so tell me, what did you really enjoy from your side today, and what did you sort of have to endure from your side?
No, listen, I know it's easy to say, but after win the game, it was a really tough game. We knew it before. The pace they have with Adam and the other ones, they are so dangerous. We organized many years working with Marco, they know exactly, so they start the season so strong. And we knew the transition was really, really good. But I think we start really well. In the first, 3 or 4 minutes, we have 2 chances and clear ones. And after they change the shape, the 4 in the back, 5 in the back, and that's why it's more difficult. And after, I had the feeling that the first half we played really, really good. But of course, when you make this transition so quick, I always had the feeling that something wrong is going to happen, no? And this is the truth. But yeah, we suffered together, and at the end, good actions in the second and third goal, and we could win.
And to go 50 games unbeaten here at the Etihad, I mean, what does that mean to you as a coach? I know you send them out to win every game, but 50 games is astonishing.
When that happens is because we have to win games like today. So we can win 4 or 5 go. Okay, we did it in the past many times, but to win this run, you have to win games like the opponent is really, really tough. Because we were not bad. The opponent is really, really good. So the people sometimes underestimate all his opponents, and the opponents are really bad. Look, Brentford today, 5 goals, and here we suffer. So in this part of the season, the problems that we have, but still the team is alive and happy for that.
So City coming from behind, Arsenal coming from behind as well to beat Southampton by 3-1. Here's Mikel Arteta.
It's football. We started the second half a bit sloppy, especially with the ball in the first phase. The game was a bit more open, and then you concede the goal. And everything that you've done in the first half is thrown on the bin, and you have to play a very different game in a very difficult context again. But I think we showed a lot of composure, very determined, huge belief. The crowd did exactly the same thing, and we managed to turn it around. The subs, I think, contributed massively to the energy and the quality. So overall happy, but too much suffering probably.
How big a luxury is it? You talk about the substitutes to bring those 3 on when you did.
Yeah, it was great, but I'm very happy. We have to make the changes, and those players deserve fully to play the way they behave and the way they are training and playing. And if you needed them, they are there, and then they are there with the right attitude, and certainly made a difference.
You talk about the schedule. It's obviously now the international break coming up, but it's not going to get any easier, is it? When they come back in the Champions League, the League Cup, the Premier League. I mean, how difficult is it for you all?
This is what we want, but hopefully with more players, because we have missed a lot of players. So what happened, and I touch wood again, that this international break, we're going to be fine, because we need to recover a lot of players, a lot of important players, certainly in certain positions.
John Southall with the questions. Brentford couldn't make it 4 games in a row in the Premier League in which they scored inside the opening minute. Today their opening goal came after 1 minute and 17 seconds. Here's Thomas Frank with Will Perry.
Thomas, 75 seconds. Why did you keep us waiting so long?
No, it's incredible, of course. I think every team wanna start fast, and right now we are in a spell where everything is not dropping to us, but going our way in that sense, in that spell of the game. So yeah, very happy with that. Actually, maybe even more happy about the third goal. It was after a kickoff, 32 seconds after the kickoff. I think offensively, wow, we looked like a threat every single time we went forward.
It would have helped if I'd given you the score and their opponents going into that. They beat Wolves 5-3. It means Gary O'Neill's side stay bottom of the table.
The performance level needs to be at a place where it gives us an opportunity. Today we had no chance of winning that football match because of how we played. So things will need to change for the next game, which is Manchester City, of course. But then moving forward, yeah, there needs to be a lot that changes from that today, because that's that won't win you many Premier League games. That.
What is missing, do you think, from last season and when you were great last season? You know, it's easy to say Kilman's gone, Neto's gone, but what else?
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, we're not. Or today, mainly today. You know, other games we've shown good performances in large moments of them. Today was, didn't look like us at all. Like, so open, no structure, some real bad decisions. Whether that's the emotion of the difficult situation that we've been in, that has to change. And once we get ourselves into a spot where we're in better structure and the team is more together, we'll definitely give ourselves a better opportunity than we gave today.
You've been in the trenches before, but Gary O'Neill loves a fight, doesn't he? Yeah,
I mean, this is, with the Premier League can be tough, and I'm not interested in any of the excuses or the reasons, or it's just this is us, this is what we've got, and everything that goes on from the kick-off at Arsenal to right this moment is my responsibility, and I accept full responsibility for it, and I will work every moment to make sure it's better.
Will Perry with the questions to both of those two managers. Steve Cooper's got his first league win as Leicester manager. They beat Bournemouth 1-0 at the King Power. We can hear from him now.
Yeah, I'm feeling great, but I'm more pleased that the players and the supporters are feeling great, and never worry about myself first. But I think that I'm just really happy that the players been able to get the win. The supporters have been able to leave the stadium with a win as well, and can enjoy the weekend and an international break more than what they might have if things were different, and that's really important to me. So just really pleased that we've got that sort of dark cloud of not getting your first win away from us, and it's really important now we go into the international break, and of course it's less intense than a normal Premier League week, but carry on with our work, keep building, review, reset a little bit, but we've got to hit the ground running when we go to Southampton after the international break, and there won't be a day go by where I won't be thinking and preparing for that.
Ipswich still waiting for their first win of the season, beaten 4-1 at West Ham. Here's Kieran McKenna with Chris Coles.
Kieran, not that you need reminding, but is this a reminder to your players that any slight drop in level, even against a team that haven't been playing too well at home, you can be ruthlessly punished?
Yeah, I think that's the reality of it, and that's the jump in the level for us. We know, I think we believe, and we've showed that at our very best on and off the ball, our top intensity and organisation off the ball, and our top execution on the ball, that we can give a lot of teams a really, really tough match, and we believe that we can put in some really good performances and take points anywhere. But also, if we come off those levels at all, we can be well beaten by any team in this division, with where we're coming from, and that's the level that we're operating at. The individual quality that West Ham have was there to see today with their execution on the goals. They're bringing on the best player in the Championship last year by a distance, probably for 8 minutes. Like, that's the jump in individual quality that so many of the players are going into. But look, I think in general, I think it would be fair to say a lot of them, and as a group, we've adapted really, really well in many aspects. We also know that we've got some big strides that we're going to have to make to be competitive all season, and today's a good sign of that.
Kieran McKenna after Ipswich's defeat at West Ham. Back at Goodison shortly, and then once the full-time whistle goes, it's 6:06 with Chris Sutton.
Yep, interesting battle at the top and at the bottom, Mark. I just wonder with Ipswich Town's defeat the West Ham way today, wasn't it, under Lopetegui? Want to hear from West Ham fans. Tractor boys, were your tyres punctured today by West Ham? Crystal Palace fans, the Eagles, Glasner still half full with your manager. Foxes.
What?
Well, Glasner, Oliver Glasner, that's the name of the manager. Is it still half full? Glass half full? Do you have faith in Glasner? And Wolves are a really interesting one, I think, Mark. Do the Wolves fans, do they have faith in Gary O'Neill to turn things around? They've had a particularly difficult start to the season, haven't they? But I heard there were boos today at Brentford, and Gary O'Neill, his interview worried me a little bit. No structure, so open. That's on him, isn't it? And at the top of the table, Liverpool, with every passing week, I didn't think they could win the title, but that was an impressive win today. Were they lucky, though, not to have a penalty awarded against them? 08085 909 693. And Hofball, want to hear from Norwich City fans. Hofball, I mean, Norwich could be coming up, and the way Ipswich played today, they could be coming down. Could be passing each other. What, Mark?
Okay, but why would you focus on Norwich's win when Sheffield United have won today, and that takes them level on points at the top of the table? Win for Watford today, so they're in the playoffs. They both had good days, and they're ahead of Norwich.
They're two really great points, but style is important, Mark. And I know you're a guy who appreciates style, but the way Norwich are doing it, it's a lovely brand of football.
Okay.
And
do you know what brand Watford are playing under Tom Cleverley?
They're all right. They're functional, but the way that the Norwich are playing, honestly, they must be excited. Fans in Norfolk, they're very, very excited. But Sheffield United, actually, Chris Wilder, he has done a tremendous job.
So you'd like to hear from Sheffield United fans?
Yes, let's hear from the Blades fans and Watford fans and any other fans that we've. Have
you read a book of nicknames today?
No, I just thought, no.
All right. 08085 909 693 to talk to Chris. The second half of Wigan-Lee is on BBC Two. It's also on Sports Extra, with Wigan leading by 18 points to 0. So they're on course to meet Hull KR in next week's grand final, and we'll have full commentary from Old Trafford of that this time next week. Boxing later on, another world title fight here on 5 Live. Nick Ball against the American Ronnie Rios. And now the second half from Goodison, goalless at the break. Back to Stephen Warnock and John Murray.
And as you know, I've quite enjoyed your style this season.
Go on.
Which is, I felt, has got definite Roger Moore 1978 about it.
Are you thinking
your safari shoots?
Right, okay.
Yeah, they've been excellent.
Right,
have you got any more?
I've got a whole range of khaki. Yes,
lovely. Right, look out for that on Match of the Day 2 tomorrow night, everyone. Here at Goodison, there's a lovely light, I must say, an autumn light around Goodison on this Saturday evening. High clouds, it's dry, the floodlights are brightly on, and Newcastle get us underway in the second half with the score 0-0. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, there's a winter chill though as well, John. Just getting that temperature getting closer. It's coming in the cold.
Yeah, it's going to get colder than this as Young heads the ball back to Pickford. No changes at half-time. Pickford in goal, penalty saver Pickford from Gordon in the first half. Garner, Tarkowski, Keane and Young. Branthwaite out injured, Mikolenko out injured, Doucouré and Mangala, Harrison, McNeil and G.I. and Calvert-Lewin. Newcastle, same team as last week against Manchester City, and they're on the attack. Joe Linton down the left-hand side. Joe Linton plays it back up the line to Lewis. Barnes is out there as well. Barnes against Doucouré. Couldn't find the pass to Joe Linton. Everton should clear. I thought Garner might have been fouled there. He's been forced to run the ball back into his own penalty area and then plays it off Barnes. And it bounces behind, just into that corner there, which is very black and white stripes, that corner. The two tiers of the Bullens Road side of the ground underneath to the one side of the scoreboard. So goal kick Everton. So the Newcastle team, Pope in goal, Trippier, Schär, Byrne and Hall. Then Bruno Guimaraes, the captain, with Tonali and Joe Linton. Murphy on the right, Barnes on the left. And Anthony Gordon, who couldn't score from the penalty spot in the first half, Stephen Warnock, against his old club. Scored the penalty against Manchester City last week, and as we were discussing at half-time, went the other way last weekend against Manchester City with the penalty that ended up in the back of the net. But today Pickford guessed right and made the save with his knees. Keane heading it forward for Everton. Here's Ndiaye with 4 Newcastle players around him, and it's Tonali who comes out with the ball. The home supporters feeling that Ndiaye was fouled. Tonali plays it forward. Gordon just keeps it in on the right wing. Newcastle players making ground in the middle. Still Gordon in possession. Gordon takes on Young and crosses high towards the back post. Joe Linton's header across. Tonali with a shot. Brilliant block from Tarkowski. Newcastle still with it. Ball from Joe Linton straight at Doucouré, and Everton are able to clear. An excellent block by the Everton captain.
It's an unbelievable block because he reads exactly what Joe Linton wants to do, and Tonali does well because he goes in to go into the 6-yard boxing and he just pulls out again to make sure that cutback is on. But the block from Tarkowski is absolutely incredible.
Listen, it's not a match full of chances. Here's Ndiaye, back heels it into the... tried to find McNeil. He was making a burst through the inside right position, actually, having come across from the left. Tried to back heel it to the edge of the box, but just presented it back to Newcastle. Yeah, it's not been a match that's absolutely packed with goal-scoring chances, but it's had incident and obviously opportunities. And Everton had the ball in the net, but Doucouré was offside when he headed it in. But it feels like it's a match that deserves a goal.
Yeah, it does, definitely. I've really enjoyed the game because it's had so much going on within it. And we just haven't seen that moment of quality at the top end of the pitch quite yet, but I'm sure it's on its way.
The Rugby League semi-final continues at Wigan, who are 24-0 up against Lee. And that is into the second half. Everton 0, Newcastle 0, just into the second half here on 5 Live. And the Rugby League, the commentary, Sharon Shortall and John Keir. If you switch across to Sports Extra, you'll hear them there now with that commentary. Here, Harrison on the right-hand side for Everton. Harrison comes in field but runs into white Newcastle shirts, as they are tonight on the field, and Barnes and Lewis Hall together. Nicely worked. Hall, Barnes on the overlap. Hall takes it on, flicks it into the penalty area. Barnes, though, was just forced out wide by the pass, and Tarkowski was able to usher him out there. And then Everton win a throw-in, level with the edge of their own penalty area, still goalless.
Yeah, wasted opportunity. Garner had been taken out the equation, and then he got down that left-hand side. The pass from Lewis Hall into Harvey Barnes isn't the right weight. It's behind him and allowed James Garner to get back and win the ball. I just feel like those are the moments where that final pass is just lacking.
Lines open for 606 if you've been at a match this afternoon, as Everton with Doucouré able to get a touch on that, and it's back to Pickford. So 08 085 909 693. Lines now open to book your call with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606. We'll be with them just a few minutes after this match end, just once we've wrapped everything up. But the boxing is on Sports Extra tonight from here in Liverpool. So the undercard is on Sports Extra, and then it switches to 5 Live later with Nick Ball defending his title against Ronnie Rios, who could almost only be a boxer with a name like that. But that's down at the arena, isn't it, on the water front?
Yeah, I can't wait for it. Really looking forward to it. I play golf with Nick's brother, Lewis. Yeah, so I was going to go tonight, but I thought this is going to be a late finish and getting away from here.
Oh, Joe Linton has taken it away from Mangala, pulls it back, but Tarkowski was there on the cover. Joe Linton, excellent. I mean, just rounded Mangala down the left-hand side and into the penalty area, and really that could really have resulted in a clear chance for Newcastle.
Yeah, he's so athletic and strong, isn't he, Joe Linton, when he gets moving down that left-hand channel. Mangala got nowhere near him. They're just having a laugh and a joke about it in the penalty box now. Sometimes you just can't keep up with someone. Such is the pace of Joe Linton.
Corner then, Trippier to take this, having been hailed as he went across there into that corner. So Trippier just backs away, just has a look over his shoulder. The St John's ambulance people are there. Deep to the back post, and again Joe Linton was after that. Pickford came. Whether he got something on that and onto Joe Linton's head, I'm not sure. Final touch though off the Newcastle man, and it's a goal kick.
Wasn't the most confident when he came for it, was he, Jordan Pickford? Sort of flapped at it a little bit. I'm just wondering. He missed the ball completely, John. I've just seen the replay. He misses it and Joe Linton heads it, but he just takes his eyes off the ball, loses that concentration, it goes behind for a goal kick.
Crowd's just been announced. The crowd figure 39,265 inside the great old ground. Tonali charging down Young's clearance, but the cross is deflected into the path of Mangala, and Everton in the blue shirts, white shorts and white socks move it away with Ndiaye, who takes it away from Trippier and continues down the left wing until he's tackled by Bruno Guimaraes, who just comes in very effectively and just snuffs that out, just dispossesses him, and then plays it infield. And now it's over on the left-hand side with Barnes and Hall again. And Hall's cross doesn't get a touch off Garner and just drifts away over the angle over the crossbar for a goal kick. Still 0-0. 7 minutes played in the second half. So 3 more Premier League commentaries tomorrow, i.e. all of the games that are being played tomorrow. 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Aston Villa Manchester United from 2, so we'll be live at Villa Park for that, while Chelsea Nottingham Forest will be on Sports Extra at the same time, and then Brighton Tottenham from 4:30. And mention of Jordan Pickford there. The 2 England matches at 5 Live, the place to hear them. The Nations League matches, Lee Carsley's next couple of matches in charge. Thursday night, Greece at Wembley. Next Sunday, Finland live from Helsinki. So 5 Live, the place for the commentary. Here's Trippier playing it forward, and now Doucouré just dances around Guimarães. McNeil's going to try a shot from 25 yards plus, but he drove it well wide, probably 6 yards wide, when it flew to the right of the goal in the end.
I was just totting up how many English players if Lee Carsley came to this game. There's 15 English players on display here, which is very uncommon in the Premier League,
isn't it? Just and 2 English managers.
And 2 English managers, yeah.
Which, as I said in the first half, is a real collector's item, because there are only 3. Gary O'Neill is the only other English manager in what overseas they call the EPL.
There might only be 2 soon.
Well,
he's having a tough time, isn't he, Gary? It's very unfortunate though, because he's lost good players over the summer. It's as we know, a results-driven industry, and there will be a lot of pressure on him. And we heard Will Perry saying the fans weren't reacting to him nicely after the game.
No, 5-3 today. They lost to Brentford. Everton with a ball into the penalty area, but above Calvert-Lewin, and it's through for a goal kick. However, as has also been pointed out today, they've got Manchester City first after the international window, but then on paper the fixtures do ease. So I've seen them a couple of times live this season, and they do have a bit about them, but I'm afraid the results are not good.
What bit's that, John?
Well, going forward, they've got something. That's a decent midfield that Wolves have got. Lamina, João Gomez, as Newcastle have got a free kick inside their own half. Anyway, if you're a Wolves fan, let Robbie and Chris know what you think about it. 08085 909 693. That will, I'm sure, be a subject tonight. I think Everton might be going to make a change. As the ball's played back to Pope, who just got the ball caught underneath his feet for a moment, but was able to pass it away to the side as Calvert-Lewin came in. And that is a fine pass from Cher to Gordon over on the left wing. Gordon now, Joe Linton cuts it back. Bruno Guimarães arriving, left foot shot, and Gordon rather got in his way. Otherwise, that might have been a clear chance for him, and the two of them know that effectively they've made a mess of that together.
I think you're doing him. I think you're helping him out there, John. I think Guimarães makes an absolute hash of it. I think Gordon does enough to get out of his way. Switch of play, right to left is lovely. Gordon finds himself out on the left-hand side. Overlapping run from Joe Linton, then he pulls it back into the path of Gordon, and Gordon leaves it then for Guimarães to run onto it. He doesn't get in his way enough to upset the shot, and gets the shot horribly wrong on his left foot.
Okay, the change now being made by Everton, and it is Idrissa Gueye who's coming on, the Senegal international, experienced midfielder, 35 years old now, so straight swap in the midfield. But yeah, that was a big chance, wasn't it, for Bruno Guimarães? And he really mishit it over the top of the bar, left foot. And now, you've reached the point, having had a penalty saved, Newcastle, if they don't get something out of this, will be kicking themselves.
Oh, they will, because you can't come away from home and expect to get too many opportunities, especially Everton after getting a result last week. Tails up a little bit going into this game. But they're just not clinical enough in front of goal at the moment, Newcastle.
Stephen Warnock, England defender, Premier League.
Former. Well, I've retired, John. Well, I'm not through. I didn't announce it. I just got retired.
Like Kieran Trippier, for example, who's recently announced his retirement. Stephen will be on Match of the Day tomorrow, so you'll be able to see Mark Chapman's safari suit.
I'm looking forward to it.
I hope he wears it now. As Garner wins a throw-in for Newcastle on the halfway line after deflecting it out of play. So a throw-in that Newcastle will take back into their own half. Newcastle, who can go fourth if they win this, and that will represent a very good start to the season, but it is currently all square as Jacob Murphy on the right hand side plays it into Young, who feels that it took another touch off Murphy, and by appealing vociferously seems to have won the decision, but he appealed so vociferously that you kind of feel that he was probably right.
He knew exactly what he needed there, didn't he? Ashley Young getting the mindset of the assistant referee. He did that, and then he gets himself the throw in.
Yes, he did. 39 years old. I was thinking with Manuel Neuer this week, who's 38, I was thinking, yeah, he's very much in the latter stage of his career, but here's Ashley Young still going at 39 as an outfielder, as Ndiaye shrugs off the challenge from Trippier and gives it out to Calvert-Lewin, who's out here on the left wing, and then Calvert-Lewin, in trying to find Ndiaye, just gives the ball back to Newcastle. Groans from the home supporters, who are attacking towards the Gladys Street end, but Newcastle are moving away towards the other end. Joe Linton, here's Gordon again, out towards the left-hand side. We've seen more of him out there in the second half, much more movement. As I say that, he does come back in field, and Joe Linton, now here's Trippier as the point of attack switches to the right-hand side. Just over half an hour to play here at Goodison, and then Tonali on the right-hand side, his cross is blocked, has another chance into the penalty area. Keane, though, is able to get underneath that for Everton and lift it away towards the halfway line. Sean Dyche steps forward and claps his hands quickly together, and now Newcastle again out to the left hand side, where Anthony Gordon wins a throw in, which he takes quickly and then is looking to get it back from Joe Linton, but the return pass had too much on it, so Tarkowski is able to volley it away downfield. Calvert-Lewin wins a header. McNeil now, he's not got a great deal of support, so he carries the ball out towards the left hand side, and Giai's now arrived, and Giai with a cross. I think he's probably got too much on that. He has. It almost lands in the opposite full-back position. It's kept in by Harrison, though. And now Doucouré across. Gunner Gay with the shot. And that lands right at the back of the lower tier of the Gladys Street end. Yeah, wasted opportunity. It's the first time that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been able to win a header against Dan Burn this afternoon. Gets that flick on. Neil then starts driving at the back four, and the decision-making the end of the move isn't great as Ghana Gay fires it over the crossbar, but Anthony Gordon certainly has moved out onto that left hand side, John, and Harvey Barnes has gone through the middle. Which is an interesting little switch in itself, isn't it? Tonali goes for a long pass, but that's too far out of play. I think they're discussing a change. Graham Jones is down there as well, another Englishman in discussion.
Did you notice he was sat here in the first half?
I didn't actually, although that's not unusual, is it, for Newcastle? No. They quite often do that.
Yeah, he was sat to our right hand side with the video analysis boys, and then went down straight away at half time, and then just found himself in front of us on the touchline.
Well, he's now in discussions, or at least he's now gone back. Jason Tyndall's there as well, so yeah, he's got his iPad out, so there's a change coming, and I think is that Livramento who's getting
Almiron.
No, Almiron's getting ready. Right, okay, that'll be an interesting. So that'll be Murphy, Almiron for Murphy, you would think.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? I mean, that's the like-for-like change. We'll soon find out, because here comes the change.
Yeah, that will be. You would surely think. So it is a free kick for Everton, just inside their own half. And if anything, you know, it's the centre forward that they're missing, isn't it, Newcastle?
Yeah, they're so much better when Isak's in the team, aren't they? I mean, even Callum Wilson, but he's struggled so much with injury, hasn't he, of late.
Pickford's free kick, everyone makes the run, and actually he swung it away to the far side, and it just bounces out of play, so we will see that change now. And actually, no, it's not. It's Harvey Barnes who's coming off.
I'm just watching Jacob Murphy now. He's now going out onto the left-hand side.
Right.
Anthony Gordon's going through the middle, and Almiron will come into this near right-hand side down below us.
So what have they seen there then?
Well, Harvey Barnes has been quiet. He hasn't really had an effect on the game, has he? And that's perhaps why he wanted Anthony Gordon out wide to try and change things up a little bit, see a bit ball Harvey Barnes to life. But he's not really had a huge effect on this game.
Miguel Almiron, who's not scored for Newcastle in 2024, not scored in his last 24 appearances. in all competitions for Newcastle. Everton 0, Newcastle 0, and there's a little bit of talk around, isn't there, that he might end up here at Everton in January. Long pass from the back from Cher, but that just bounces harmlessly through to Pickford. It's actually deteriorated, hasn't it, as a spectacle. Everton playing it towards the halfway line, but that's a misplaced pass. Joe Linton now to Bruno Guimaraes. Gordon turns initially with his back to the penalty area, but he's got Doucouré chasing him and Harrison. However, Newcastle keep possession, and here is Murphy now on the left hand side, as Stephen Warnock mentioned, and then back to the halfway line. Still Everton 0, Newcastle 0. 5 Live from the BBC, and Bruno Guimaraes on the halfway line, a high pass out towards the right hand side that Trippier brings down. Trippier then plays infield towards Bruno Guimaraes again. Guimaraes out to the right hand side to Tonali. Tonali though can't get the cross in. Ashley Young was out in the right place. Trippier back to Tonali again, and then Tonali's ball infield is straight to Gay, who hits it long downfield for Calvert-Lewin, who's beaten in the air by Dan Burn.
It's a nothing ball from Idrissa Gana Gueye. Give Calvert-Lewin a chance, hit the channel, at least let him run it into the channel and maybe get himself and his team a throw-in, or hold the possession up, but firing up into his head with Dan Burn.
Here's Murphy, but he overruns it. Heavy touch. Doucouré just hit the pass straight at McNeil, bounced off him. McNeil now gets another chance. No, it runs away from him. Very scrappy in the centre circle. And then Gordon comes short, receives it, sets off towards the penalty area, passes it to the left-hand side. Joe Linton's out there, up against James Garner. Passes it back to Hall. Guimaraes again, Bruno Guimaraes. Further out wide to the left-hand side, and Joe Linton back to Bruno Guimaraes. Looks like Newcastle's Rugby Union side are on the way to defeat the 25-10 down to Leicester. And in the Super League semi-final that is on Sports Extra right now, Wigan 26-0 up. And Gordon, middle of the Everton half. Square from him to Trippier. Trippier slips the ball through to Almiron. Almiron pulls it back, deflected, and then hits Pickford, who actually just reacted there, and it came off the top of his left thigh, round the post for a corner.
Yeah, they switch off for a second. Everton, Njai caught sleeping, ball played inside him, slightly heavy, and it ricochets not off only Michael Keane's shin, but then it ricochets off Jordan Pickford's thigh and goes out for a corner.
Corner to be taken by Hall into the near post. It's flicked and blocked on the line. Blocked on the line, comes out towards the edge of the penalty area. I think it was Idrissa Gueye who was in position there. Tonali with the header, and that's another goal line clearance that Everton have managed to keep the ball out of their net. It's whipped in, a little deflection. I think it was Tonali.
It was,
blocked on the line.
Yeah, great movement from Tonali, because it looked like a poor ball from Hall when he first hit it, but the movement from Tonali makes it into a really good ball. As you say, John, I don't know whether it was Doucouré or Idrissa Gana Gueye. I actually thought it was Doucouré with the block.
We'll find out when we see the evidence in a minute.
They won't care. They've kept the ball out. It's the most important thing from set pieces. In the right place at the right time.
And they're going to make another change to the midfield, Sean Dyche. Although McNeil's run it back into the area. Calvert-Lewin the chance. Good save, Paul. And then all lifted over the bar. But I think Calvert-Lewin was brought down in there.
I'll give it, John.
I think Dan Burn jumped in on Calvert-Lewin just as the ball was running to Gay, who lifted it over the bar. And I don't think he has given the penalty, has he?
No, he's not. But the ball from Dwight McNeil into Calvert-Lewin's glorious, and Calvert-Lewin takes a touch. He tries to slot it. It's a penalty. Has to be a penalty. Dan Burn, he's on the wrong side of him, and as he goes to get the shot away, Calvert-Lewin, Dan Burn jumps on the back of his leg, takes him to ground. It's a penalty. It has to be. How's he not give that as a penalty?
Oh, well, I think VAR will be looking at that. Bearing in mind that Everton have already had a penalty awarded against them here, and we're just waiting now. The referee is saying VAR is looking, and where's he going? The referee's walking across the penalty area, and he's going to speak to Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin is now pointing to where the incident happened, and the referee is saying that play will continue with a Newcastle goal kick.
This is bizarre.
So
really bizarre. Great save from Nick Pope, but as it comes out, Dan Burn, he goes into Calvert-Lewin's space, and as he cocks back his left foot, goes to get that shot away, he steps across Calvert-Lewin. Now, there was an incident, I think if you think back, John, it was Calvin Phillips for West Ham, when same incident against Newcastle, where he stepped across and he came into his space. I think that's a penalty, I really do.
Yeah, and also Anthony Gordon, a similar incident last season.
Yeah.
And they feel, the feeling is that Calvert-Lewin there has stepped into Burns' path. So therefore, referee Pawson has taken the evidence that has been put to him by Chris Kavanagh and has not been told to go and look at it again. Right, a couple of changes here for Everton. Harrison is off, and Tim Iribunum, summer arrival from Aston Villa, has come on, and Newcastle have also made a change there. Who is it that's come on for Newcastle?
Joe Willock.
Oh yeah, Joe Willock into the midfield. Here comes Doucouré down the left-hand side for Everton. It is still 0-0. Doucouré with a cross, headed away. Excellent header actually by Hall, who got up to nod that away. Newcastle bring it forward with Joe Linton on the left-hand side. Joe Linton, who has got Willock flying down the left. He goes down. Garner with a challenge. Garner recovers. Garner is able to come out with the ball against him, and Iribunum as well will play it away for Everton. Idrissa Gueye. That was a chance, by the way, that was missed by Idrissa Gueye in the aftermath of what Everton thought should have been a penalty. And also we should credit Pope with the save that he made from Calvert-Lewin in there as well. But Everton coming forward with Ndiaye. Now here's Gueye. Gueye turning away from Guimaraes, and then back onto his right foot, and then through towards Doucouré, and now Everton building up ahead of steam. McNeil with a shot from 22 yards, but well wide of the right post, and I think Trippier is going to have to come off. He's gone down. Yeah, he's saying that's his hamstring, I think, and so he's down on the edge of the area, and Livramento is ready to come on for him.
Yeah, and then also Joe Linton's now gone into the left of the three up top, and Jacob Murphy was the other substitute to come off. But it was a really good save by Nick Pope, and I'm just seeing the incident again, John. It's replaying time and time again in front of me, and I just, for the life of me, I can't get how they've come to that decision that it's not a penalty.
So, judging by what you've been saying, you can see, you think the reason that they've not given it, but you don't agree with it.
No, I don't agree with it. I think that they're saying basically, as Dominic Calvert-Lewin goes to draw back his left foot, Dan Burn then goes into that space, but he kicks. He goes across Dominic Calvert-Lewin, knocks him off balance as well, and then also catches his leg. So for me, it was a penalty.
20 minutes to go, and Tonali's coming off as well, and as you hear, Sean Longstaff. So that's a straight swap between the two of them. So Livramento and Longstaff coming on. Tonali just steps down, and if Kieran Trippier, if that's a hamstring for him, then after the international window, Newcastle have got a really testing little run coming up, where they're at home to Brighton, then they've got the two matches against Chelsea, first in the league at Stamford Bridge, then in the Carabao Cup at St James's Park, and then it's Arsenal at home. So we'll see how that is after the match. Lines open for 606. Quite a lot to discuss from this match actually as well, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. Newcastle on the move. Longstaff with the pass. Livramento's ball into the Everton penalty area. It was missed by Keane, stabbed away by Keane. Almiron shoots into the outside netting. And I think, did Pickford get a touch on that?
I don't know whether it took a
superb
deflection.
Save.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it just took a nick off one of the one of the Everton players getting across. It struck the side net, and the Newcastle fans, from the angle that they were at, they thought it had gone in. It just takes a deflection off the back of Tarkowski. Really good defending from Tarkowski. It's another Newcastle corner.
Yep, deflected wide, just by centimetres really. Here's the corner from Lewis into the near post. Almost scored from the last one, but that one was well dealt with, headed away. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. As I say, 6:06, waiting for your calls. We'll be on air, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, from around 7:30 tonight. But after the Rugby League, with Wigan on the way through to the grand final, shouts for handball on the halfway line against Joe Willock. That's not given. Over the top from Newcastle down the right, but Almiron in an offside position. There's the Rugby League on Sports Extra now. More Rugby League on Sports Extra in the morning. Melbourne Storm against Penrith Panthers, and the grand final will be on 5 Live next weekend. So that is the NRL grand final in the morning. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Calvert-Lewin flicking on the ball down the line. Longstaff just got there first ahead of Irabunum. Now here is Joe Linton, who has to just check back but then drags the ball forward and takes it on and runs at the Everton defence and gets it back from Lewis, and Joe Linton works it across but straight at Irabunum, who is able to calmly pass that away. But Lewis Hall, I must say, has covered an awful lot of ground, the Newcastle left back, the former Chelsea youngster, up and down that left hand side. Wins the ball back again, or takes possession again. Here is Sean Longstaff to Gordon, and then Bruno Guimaraes. Still 0-0. Longstaff again goes back to the halfway line, where Cher and Byrne are back in possession. Just over 15 minutes to play, plus added time. Here is Joe Willock. Joe Linton out on that left flank, takes on Garner, but Garner's able to get a foot in on that and defend it well, and then hit a long pass for Calvert-Lewin to chase, but Cher should deal with that, which he does, passing it back to Nick Pope, now back in the England squad under Lee Carsley. Livramento back to Pope, right-footed across his own penalty area to Dan Byrne. Lewis Hall on the left side of the defence to Willock with Joe Linton ahead of him, but is closed down there by Irabunum, so has to go back towards the edge of his own penalty area. Still 0-0. Darkness is now closed in around Goodison Park. Clocks will be changing in a couple of weeks' time, then it'll be getting colder. Here's Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes just is able to wait and then find the pass forward towards Gordon, who was looking to take it in his stride, but Ashley Young came across, and with that the ball had gone and Everton were back in possession. But Gordon hit the turf again, as you can hear the reaction to that from the Everton fans.
Yeah, the movement though from Gordon in between the two centre-backs, the ball just didn't have enough weight on it. But he has evaded the centre-backs on numerous occasions. They just haven't quite had that quality to find him. Here he is again.
Yeah, Longstaff receiving it from Gordon. Now Longstaff towards the left-hand side to Willock as Newcastle attack towards the park stand. Still going Willock, skips over one challenge, but in comes Gay to get a touch on the ball. Back to Guimaraes, now on the right-hand side with Almiron, the Paraguayan, to Livramento with a cross into the back of Ashley Young, and it bounces behind for another corner. I make that corner number 10 for Newcastle in the match. Everton have had 0.
They haven't really made the most of these corners. They've had a couple of opportunities where, it was the previous one, Tonali made that run across the near post and it was saved off the line, but the quality hasn't been great on them.
Right, let's see what Lewis Hall can do now with this one. Lewis Hall just backs away, both arms raised. In comes the delivery, again to the near post, but that's headed down and away by Calvert-Lewin, who is back there inside his own 6-yard box. Idrissa Gueye bringing it away and winning a throw-in off Joe Willock. So Everton with a throw halfway inside their own territory. Ashley Young's done well at left back, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he had a tough start
performer.
Yeah, but he had a tough start to the season, Ash, and there's probably a lot of people touting his number about his age and saying, that's him done. Not Ash, he's not that type of character. It'll upset him, it'll get to him, and he'll want to prove a lot of people wrong, and that experience is invaluable in the changing room.
Yes, quietly making strides in the football media world as well. Ashley Young, So he's played at left back. Garner at right back has done okay as well, hasn't he? He's had his hands full.
I think he's done really well, James Garner. I think he's an outstanding footballer. He needs to try and put his injury problems behind him, stay as fit as he can, and he's a huge asset to Everton.
Everton in possession inside their own half. Idrissa Gueye to Tarkowski. Tarkowski, who conceded the penalty in the first half. Have a look at that on Match of the Day tonight, which is coming up after the news on BBC One. Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, Michael Richards tonight. It's on again at breakfast time in the morning, and of course Match of the Day you can watch anytime on the iPlayer. Forward from Keane. And Giai takes that down brilliantly. He's up against Livramento now, but Livramento went with him, and there was cover there as well from Longstaff, and between them they stopped his progress. Gordon goes back to Longstaff. Now Bruno Guimaraes, and Hall will begin to move forward with the ball towards the halfway line. Just over 10 minutes to play here at Goodison Park under the floodlights in the last season for the great stadium, where Everton have been playing since 1892. Here is Livramento. Livramento forced infield by Ndiaye. Still inside his own half, Livramento, but then with his left foot finds the pass to Willock, and then Willock looks to play it forward to Joe Linton, but Garner shoulder to shoulder with the Brazilian went down, and actually the offside flag has gone up, and it is a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, Joe Linton just went a fraction too soon, but credit to James Garner. He held a high enough line, but he was able to get back in, make that challenge as well, slide into ground, timed it perfectly. He didn't know that the offside flag was going to help him out as well. We spoke about him before. Defended really well in that right back position, because look at the mismatch in size between the two, and physicality as well.
Yeah, Sean Dyche just reaches behind him. There's a little bottle of water there, just to try and lubricate the famous throat of Sean Dyche. Long ball forward from Pickford, but that just bounces through to Pope at the other end, and Newcastle set off again with Livramento, not in the England squad named this week, but in the under-21s again. Livramento to Almiron to Longstaff very nearly found the pass to Livramento, who continued his run into the penalty area, and it was just an Everton leg that cut that out. Otherwise Newcastle might have cut them open.
Really nice play by Newcastle down this right hand side. They've tried to bring energy on in Livramento and Almiron and Longstaff down that side. It has had an effect on the game, but well defended from Everton.
Exactly 10 minutes to go. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. And then 606 will take over. 08 085 909 693 or hashtag BBC 606 or text 85058 to book your call. We'll have the live interviews as well during the course of 606 with Eddie Howe and Sean Dyche on what currently will be a 0-0 draw that they'll be discussing, but still time yet for either side to snatch this. Everton just dropping back as Newcastle have it with Cher, and now Bruno Guimaraes. Pass to Almiron in the centre circle, back to Bruno Guimaraes. Now Lewis Hall receives it again out to the left hand side to Joe Linton, the adaptable Joe Linton, who's quite the favourite now, isn't he, after being well maligned in his early days with Newcastle United after he arrived under Steve Bruce. But obviously they knew that there was a player in there, and he's certainly become that player.
Yeah, but he came as a striker, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that was the difference, playing him in midfield. I mean, his ball retention is exceptional, but his recoveries, the way he closes people down, eats the ground up.
Longstaff through to Almiron. Gordon, right side of the area, shoots up and over the top of the crossbar, and again is being baited by the Everton supporters. As Pickford has got a bit of cramp there, I think he'll be okay. But Gordon with a chance.
I should score, should do better. Runs in between Michael Keane and Ashley Young. It's a really smart run. He just gets on the shoulder of Michael Keane. He's on the edge of the right hand side of the 6-yard box, but he blazes it over the bar. Poor miss from Anthony Gordon. You expected much better. Should have gone hard and low into that far left-hand corner.
Yep, went high and high over the bar into the Park stand. So still Everton 0, Newcastle 0. Everton have cleared a couple off the line. Newcastle had the penalty obviously in the first half. Brilliant, nicely done on the right hand side from Ndiaye. Comes back to him, and here's the little cross to the back post. McNeil arriving, couldn't get the shot in. It bounced up, he got it all wrong, caught up underneath his feet in a busy penalty area. But even so, Newcastle will breathe a sigh of relief there, as it was bouncing towards the man who scored both goals here last Saturday. And Newcastle win a free kick at the back.
Yeah, I don't think he expects Decore to pull down from the header and allow it to go to Dwight McNeil. I think he thinks his midfielder is going to get some type of contact on it, but he is very close to Decore as he goes to strike that ball with his left foot. It just wouldn't sit up for him after that.
Share, long pass from him again. We've seen that on a number of occasions, that sort of right to left pass, the long pass from the Newcastle central defender. Everton deal with this, and now Ndiaye is pulled back by Lewis Hall. I think that might be a yellow card. It is. He's already got it out of his pocket, referee Pawson. So Lewis Hall is yellow carded for that first Newcastle player to be booked.
Yeah, they like Ndiaye, the Evertonians, don't they? See a player who's a game changer, someone who can take people on individually, likes the ball under pressure. Been impressed with him this afternoon.
So a free kick for Everton with 6 minutes plus added time to play. A long pass towards Calvert-Lewin. Cher wins that one against the Everton number 9. Idrissa Gueye wins the ball against Longstaff, middle of the Newcastle half. Now McNeil, Calvert-Lewin drives it across the penalty area from the left-hand side, but straight into the path of Byrne, who's able to clear away, and then Ashley Young on the halfway line passes it all the way back to his goalkeeper Pickford. Clearance from him. Livramento is up against McNeil. McNeil though comes out with the ball, but then Bruno Guimaraes is in there, so McNeil has to turn, then pass it through to Calvert-Lewin, who is tackled by Cher. And Newcastle again with Almiron over the halfway line with the pass. Joe Linton now to Willock on the left hand side up against Garner. Garner tries to stay with him. The cross from Willock is blocked and then cleared away by Garner, who got to his feet and just knocks it out of play over the hoardings into the Newcastle fans. Throwing down the left hand side. 5 minutes to go at Goodison. Still looking for the opening goal. Tomorrow, Aston Villa, Manchester United. But now, Newcastle with Willock playing the ball across from the left-hand side, but Pickford went down, and then belatedly the offside flag was up against Willock, and it's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, lovely run from Joe Willock, but just goes a fraction too early. But it was the right run. It was the run off the shoulder of James Garner when he switches off for a fraction of a second and tries to fizz it across the 6-yard box, but Pickford dealt with it, not knowing that the flag was going to go up to help him out.
In the Super League semi-final, Wigan are winning handsomely, 38-0 against their near neighbours Lee. So Wigan on their way to the grand final, which you'll hear next Saturday on 5 Live. And in the Rugby Union, Newcastle 10, Leicester 37 is the latest score. Everton 0, Newcastle 0. 5 Live tomorrow for Aston Villa, Manchester United and Brighton Tottenham. And Sports Extra, the place to hear Chelsea against Nottingham Forest. Boxing live from Liverpool later. Newcastle on the attack. Livramento, Bruno Guimaraes. Now Joe Linton, 25 yards out. Back to the right-hand side. Almiron went for goal. It's deflected off Tarkowski across the penalty area. I thought for a moment there it was going to fly in the net off the Everton captain, but it bounced wide and Everton clear.
Yeah, catalogue of errors from Everton. They couldn't get hold of the ball. It broke down 3 or 4 times. They couldn't break the play up, and Almiron should do better as well.
Yeah, poor effort really from Almiron. Not confident in the penalty area, as I was mentioning earlier. Bruno Guimaraes now passing it forward to Joe Linton, then digging out the pass as it comes back to him, to Willock. Hall trots forward. Newcastle certainly not at full tilt here. Guimaraes, little pass. Longstaff has a look over his shoulder. There's no one coming from Everton. Livramento. Everton have got everyone back behind the ball as Newcastle go back towards the halfway line again. Now here's Longstaff. and then Almiron, and Cher goes all the way back into his own half. So they start again, Newcastle United. Lewis Hall, who just finds Dan Byrne, Bruno Guimaraes, but there's no space further forward. This is a classically well-drilled Sean Dyche team that we're looking at from up here, just behind the director's box in the main stand. Now a pass forward from Lewis. This is for Joe Linton to chase, but Tarkowski will comfortably get there first, although he went to ground. The ball didn't go out of play, but he was shoved in the back. That's why he went to ground, says the referee, and it's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, good spot by the referee, Craig Pawson. Knew that Joe Linton had leaned into the back of Tarkowski. Tarkowski looked like the favourite to get there. Well seen.
So still goalless. Everton would be putting together a little unbeaten run, I suppose you would say that for them, having drawn at Leicester, beaten Palace, and level here with Newcastle. And before that, they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup, but that was a 1-1 draw here with Southampton. And Jordan Pickford over there being baited by the Newcastle fans, the former Sunderland goalkeeper. Wisely, Pickford doesn't always manage to restrain himself, but he just very calmly takes the free kick away downfield, and it results in an Everton throw level with the edge of the Newcastle penalty area with just over a minute of the 90 to play. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls on 606 08 085 909 693 if you've been out and seen something at a match today. Here is Newcastle with Joe Linton doing very well actually to take it away from Irabunum, and now Sean Dyche is ordering his men back because Livramento is bringing it forward and giving it to Joe Linton, who's going to try a shot, but well wide across the face of goal from 2 or 3 yards outside the penalty area, and it is a goal kick for Everton. And the Super League semi-final is over, and Wigan have won it 38-0. So Wigan into the grand final, winning comfortably, and as I say, you will hear that on 5 Live next Saturday. Ball's out of play. Referee Pawson is asking Pickford to get a move on.
He won't be in a rush. They'll be happy with this, Everton. I know it's a home game, but Newcastle team who are fighting to get into the top 4. He played extremely well in the second half last week against Manchester City. They know the dangers that they possess, so they'll be happy to walk away with a point, I'm sure.
4 minutes of added time.
4 minutes additional time. 4 minutes.
Newcastle have had a couple cleared off the line. Everton had one in the net in the first half that was ruled out for offside, but I suppose the big moment is the Anthony Gordon penalty that was saved by Jordan Pickford.
Well, that and the non-penalty.
Yes.
Foul
also
by Dan Byrne on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which I felt should have been a penalty. So there's lots of talking points today after this game.
Well, Sean Dyche will be into that decision, you can guarantee it. Long one from the back, and Dwight McNeil, excellent control, plays it into Doucouré. It's square now. Idrissa Gueye tried to knock it back. He might have been fouled there by Cher. No free kick. Again, Everton fans howling their dissatisfaction as Newcastle have possession again on the halfway line. Guimaraes to Joe Linton. Joe Linton then across here to Sean Longstaff. Longstaff, little ball forward towards Gordon. Gordon is tackled by Gueye, and now Newcastle might be vulnerable here, but Joe Linton in as Dwight McNeil dwelt on the ball, and now Everton have got to get back because Almiron is carrying it forward. Bruno Guimaraes, middle of the half. He's got options either side. He's taking his time. Eventually the ball comes to Livramento, but Livramento actually comes to a stop, plays it back in field towards Bruno Guimaraes. Still Bruno Guimaraes, then lays it to Livramento. Here's the cross, took a little deflection. Joe Linton was looking to shoot. I think Tarkowski got a touch on that as well, which took it away from the Brazilian. And then Lewis Hall's pass is charged down. MGI might pass it forward, but there's too much on that. Doucouré won't get there, and Newcastle back in possession. Well into added time. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the second half. Calvert-Lewin on his own up there. is able to shrug off Guimarães, then takes it on, and he's brought down by Cher, who stepped out. There were covering defenders there, but he took him out there. It's going to be a yellow card, it's going to be a free kick. He knew exactly what he was doing, Cher.
Yeah, he just got caught flat-footed, Cher, as Dominic Calvert-Lewin attacks him, just steps him one way then the other, glides past him, clear yellow card. He's not been really in this game, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he's been at the heart of arguably the biggest decision, the penalty incident. He's not been great at winning headers. So often we look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin and say he gives them a focal point, Everton. He gives them that ability for the wingers to run beyond him, but he hasn't done that at all today.
Still 0-0, and now we tick into the final minute of added time. 6:06 on the way, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton taking your calls. But a free kick to Everton, and if they're able to conjure something up here and score a goal that would surely be the winning goal, then that really would be lift-off for their season. 2 wins in a row, been up against it here against Newcastle, but as Stephen Warnock's been saying, they feel they were wrong with the penalty appeal that they had, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The referee's just moved the ball back, and that means that Garner, who is going to take it, has just said, I've got to come across and replace that now, so it's exactly where I want it. The wall is on the edge of the D, so this is all of 25 yards. Garner, who can strike a free kick. James Garner looks the favourite to take it, although there is the option there of McNeil.
Well, Newcastle wall's edged forward. Look at where the spray is.
Yeah, over it. It's going to be Garner, but that is going over the wall and high and wide as well, and behind, and groans from the Gladys Street end. Looks as though it's going to be a 0-0 draw, Stephen.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think from James Garner's point of view, or Sean Dyce's, he's just saying anything on target or potentially over the bar would be good from that distance.
Our producer Rob Schofield is off to set up downstairs. You'll hear the interviews with Rob during 6:06, but we're well over added time here now, and Newcastle, despite the Everton claims for a penalty, the way that the match has gone, I think Eddie Howe will feel that this has been an opportunity missed. He'll feel that they should have taken all 3 points, had the chance. Anthony Gordon from the penalty spot, other opportunities as well. It's a throw into Everton, and that is it. 0-0. It's finished. Handshakes all round. Sean Dyche walks out onto the pitch, claps his hands all around Goodison Park. He'll be bristling, he'll be annoyed that Everton didn't get that penalty. He's very good with the penalty statistics that have not been given against his teams.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be very disappointed, and thinking once he sees that again straight away, he'll be speaking to the referees. But on a whole, I thought it was an enthralling game. It was one that you didn't want to take your eyes off, because there was so much going on within it. We didn't get the goal we wanted. We didn't get a moment of quality that the game just needed to open the deadlock. But overall, I thought it was a really interesting game. Plenty to talk about.
So there we are. You'll see it all on Match of the Day tonight. Anthony Gordon with his penalty in the first half that was saved by Jordan Pickford. That arguably the biggest moment of all in this match. So Stephen Warnock, thank you very much for your company for the first time at a match this season. I will see you again soon, no doubt. Everton 0, Newcastle 0, the final score here. But there is more live sport tonight on 5 Live. On Sports Extra from 8 o'clock, you'll hear the undercard from live here in Liverpool, the boxing, and then the world title fight. Nick Bull, Ronnie Rios is on 5 Live from round about 10 o'clock this evening. The Women's T20 World Cup continues in the morning with India, Pakistan from 11 o'clock on Sports Extra. There's the Rugby League as well from Australia in the morning. Test match special back on air first thing Monday morning. The Test series, England in Pakistan, you'll hear that unfold over the coming weeks. And then in terms of the live football tomorrow, 5 Live, the place to hear Aston Villa, Manchester United from 2, while Chelsea, Nottingham Forest is on Sports Extra, and then Brighton, Tottenham from 4:30, and of course everything will be previewed, reviewed in Weekend Breakfast, and then Colin Murray from 10 o'clock in the morning with the latest edition of the Great Football Songbook at 10:30. But that's it from us here at Goodison Park. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton standing by with 6:06. But it is the news first on 5 Live with Joe Mackenzie.
This